One person who was far from happy, though, was attorney Eric Guster, who was enraged. He tweeted during the speech, "Did Hitler draft part of this speech?" He also tweeted that you are the civil rights issue of our time. POTUS. Strong words. Eric Guster joins us tonight from Birmingham. So, Eric, I've known you a long time. I think you're a pretty reasonable guy, smart guy, lawyer.
Yeah,
I see what's happening to you as something that's very similar to what's happening to a lot of Democrats I know in Washington. You dislike Trump so much, his personal affect is so offensive to you, that you can't hear clearly what he says. You're possessed, and it's affecting your judgment.
That is the most ridiculous thing I've heard within the last 24 hours besides some of the lines in Trump's speech. I do not totally dislike Donald Trump. What I'm disliking is his message and the things that he says about people and the hatred that he's incited in people, and him not speaking out against the racial hatred that is done in his name, the attacks on Muslims, the attacks on blacks, the attacks on Jewish cemeteries that he's touched on a little bit in the last few days, but not forcefully enough. So those are things I'm totally against.
So I don't even plan to address directly your tweet comparing him to Hitler because I think it's embarrassing to you. But I want to get to what you just said.
No, you read it. You read it.
I know, but I'm embarrassed to bring it directly to you because I think you're above that and I think it diminishes you. But let me ask you about what you just said. You said Trump's speech last night contained racial hatred. I watched the whole thing. I don't think anyone could agree with all of it, but where was the race hatred in it?
Trump has had a message of racial hate throughout this campaign, throughout his presidency that's only, what, a few weeks old. But what Trump has done is he has created this racial divide between Mexicans and Americans, between immigrants and Americans. So what he's done is created this divide, and that's what I mean in reference to the Hitler comment, in that Hitler used immigration and racism as their base, and that is what Trump has done. For example, I'm in Alabama.
It's just so stupid. I don't even know what
let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay, please finish quickly.
Let me finish.
And get to a smart point.
For example, he was in Alabama, and there were rebel flags and people who were saying racial things to protesters, and that was something that incited his base. And those are things I'm speaking of in reference to Hitler, not saying he is Hitler, but he's Hitler-esque. Absolutely.
Okay. So he was in Alabama, and there were Confederate flags around. Therefore, he's worthy of being compared to Hitler. Look, so let's just stay.
We're talking about the racial undertone that he has never addressed.
Last night.
No. That is a topic. He's had racial undertones throughout his campaign that he never addressed, not even once. And that's a shame on him being the leader of the free world.
Did you watch the speech last night? Because he opened up.
I watched.
But he opened the speech by saying there have been incidents of racial bias and they're wrong and I disavow them. I mean, did you miss that, or do you think he's lying, or what should he have done exactly? I'm trying to take you seriously here.
I will give him a gold star and a cookie for that moment, but we have to look at a person's actions. Words are very cheap. It's very easy to say words, but it goes back to actions.
What
Even
actions?
With
I'm trying to keep myself.
No,
what are you talking about?
I'm going to give them to you.
As an act of racial bias? Please.
No. For example, when we talk about unfair policing in communities of color and poor communities, Jeff Sessions gave a speech within the last 2 days where he was saying that they're going to stop suing police departments in reference to these things. So those are things that we're talking about.
We've had a black president for the past 8 years. For the past 8 years, we've had an African-American president during the exact period where you say that racial bias in our police departments is out of control. So Donald Trump has been the president for a matter of mere months. So I don't think I said that. I want to get to something specific that he said, that the Democrats said last night. So Trump, in his speech,
you said that I said it's out of control. I said Jeff Sessions gave a speech where he said that he would stop suing police departments. That's very concerning to many people, including myself, as a civil rights lawyer. When the Department of Justice is being told that they're not going to sue police departments and give consent decrees to tell them that they have to stop racial bias, they have to stop unfair policing, that's a problem and very concerning with a lot of people.
You've had 8 years of an Obama Justice Department, an Obama Civil Rights Division, indeed an Obama presidency, and that bias, according to you and other so-called civil rights lawyers, has flowered. And I'm merely saying, if your real concern is racial bias and not just dumb partisanship, and I'm having trouble believing that, then you would have said something about the Obama administration's failure to take that on over 8 years in office. But let me get back to last night in a concrete example.
No. I'm not going to let
that
comment hang.
Okay.
No, the Department of Justice under Obama took on several issues of racial bias. The Department of Justice was extremely active in weeding out police departments that are unfair to different communities.
So in Baltimore and in Ferguson, where you clearly saw racial bias at work, I talked to you at the time. I don't remember you holding the president accountable for that. But again, this is one of those cul-de-sacs that's not worth exploring. Let me ask you a very discreet question about last night. So Trump gets up there and says there are victims of crime by immigrants. And the second he says that, and there are, of course, I mean, there's really no dispute about that. Democrats in the chamber, members of Congress, all but boo him. They bark at him. They express verbally their displeasure. And my question is, why? Why is it offensive to note the truth that there actually are Americans who've been harmed and killed by immigrants? Why is that bad to note? And by the way, whose side are you on if you're offended by that?
No. It's not bad to note that, but we also must note the violence that is perpetuated by white nationalists. The violence such as the Charleston 9, which he has not mentioned. The mosque that was attacked in Canada, which he has not mentioned. He has not spoken out against white supremacists who've done very similar things that he's trying to blame on the immigrants. Those are the real dangers within our country.
You're kind of
missing
my
question.
Homegrown terrorists.
I'm answering your question, but you don't want the answer.
Why would Democrats? The Charleston 9 happened when Obama was president. Like, this is... I'm losing patience, but I just want to get to the. I just want to get to this one question. Why would that make Democrats mad that he said that? And they were mad. They groaned audibly. It was picked up on mics. Why would that annoy them so much that he was noting that immigrants have hurt Americans? Like, what's wrong with saying that? Can you answer that question?
There's nothing wrong with saying that, but he's totally ignored the things I talked about. The white nationalists and the white supremacists who are attacking people on a weekly basis.
I'm out of time, Eric.
He's totally ignored that.
It's too frustrating.
I hate you don't want the truth, Tucker.
Unwilling to deal with reason. Thanks a lot.